Good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to This Week in Renewables, Season 2, Episode 10, your bite-sized roundup of the renewable stories over the last 7 days, wind, hydropower and solar, anything renewables I discuss. I'm your host, as always, Mr. Deji Ogunsola, the voice you can trust. Don't forget to do all the good stuff, do liking and sharing and subscribing. It really does help keep the visibility of this podcast high. Available on YouTube, Spotify and all other streaming platforms. It's fair to say that this weekend and the week before has been dominated by the events in Ukraine. Myself, who's got personal friends who are from the region, I've seen what a difficult time it has been for many, and it goes without saying that all our thoughts and prayers are with those of the people of Ukraine. Back to renewables. It's quite interesting at the particular moment that I have seen some articles with regards to looking at the renewables and how the impact of the war in Ukraine can affect it, and maybe this particular moment, the Russian-Ukraine crisis will speed up Europe's green energy push. This is really considering that Russia, or Europe I should say, relies on Russia for around 40% of its natural gases. A primary source of creating electricity and heat for homes and other buildings. That supply could very much be constrained by the Western sanctions on Russia, or if Moscow retaliates by suspending sales, which is a high risk at the moment. So maybe organizations and institutions will be forced to invest in earnest for a greater zero emissions renewable energy source, and hopefully that can kind of speed up that push. And we have already kind of seen that looking at Germany, and reading a report over the weekend that Germany is aiming to speed up its growth of its wind and solar energy projects. This is according to a document seen by Reuters. The move comes amid the Ukraine crisis, as I've commented before, and the underscoring need for Europe to reduce reliance on Russian gas. Cutting back on Russian imports of natural gas has been tricky for Europe's largest economy, especially as it has already set to exit nuclear power this year and coal power by 2030. Germany's economy minister now wants to speed up the passage of renewable energy source at the EEG through Parliament, so that it can become into force by the 1st of July 2022. The economy minister Robert Habeck, a leading member of the Greens party, has said faster expansion of renewable is key to reducing Germany's dependence on Russian fossil fuels. So again, it's interesting to see how the invasion and the war in Ukraine will affect the renewable sector, particularly across Europe. Some more wind energy news, and it's a great time for renewable energy in France. President Emmanuel Macron has announced that France will have 40 gigawatts of offshore wind capacity in operation by 2050. This capacity corresponds to around 50 offshore wind farms, as the president stated in a speech last week. This is important statement and commitment for offshore wind in France. So really interesting to see how the next couple of months and years and how the offshore wind sector will develop in that particular part of the world. Some more news from the wind sector, and OX2, who is the Scandinavian developer, they are to offload 32 megawatts of Swedish wind to Octopus. They have reached an agreement to sell 32 megawatt Marhult wind farm in Sweden to Octopus Renewables. The Marhult wind project outside Vajor will enter construction in the first half of 2022 and estimated to be completed by the end of 2023. OX2 has been developing the project since 2019. Once commissioned, OX2 will be responsible for the technical and commercial management of the project under a 15-year agreement optimizing production and supervising its operation. Octopus Renewable Investments Director Peter Dice has said, "We are extremely excited by this acquisition, which will play an important role in growing renewable projects in Sweden, a market where continuing to expand our footprint. OX2 has been a great partner for us, and we look forward to working with them to get this wind farm constructed and into operation so we can help the Swedish meet its climate goals." So congratulations to both parties involved. Moving on to some solar energy news, and Sonidix has achieved commercial operation of a 40 megawatt solar plant in Japan. The Summer Solar Plant is the 9th largest scale solar project fully managed through the development, financing and construction phase by Sonidix Japan for the Sonidix Group. The Summer brings the operating capacity of the Sonidix Group's Japan portfolio to an amazing 400 megawatts. Located in the city of Summer, hence the name, the plant is expected to produce 48,000 megawatts hours of clean energy during its full year of operation. The electricity generated by the solar plant will be sold through a 18.5 year plus power purchase agreement. Reaching 400 megawatts operational capacity is a noteworthy milestone in the Japan growth strategy, as commented by Mr. Axel Furman, who is the CEO of the Sonidix Group. So again, congratulations to all involved on that particular project in Japan. Some more news from the solar sector. This time it's coming from, just having a look here, Glenmont. They are to boost the Spanish PV pipeline by 161 megawatts. Glenmont Partners is expanding its solar pipeline in Spain with acquisition of a 161 megawatt portfolio from Spanish developer Grupo Tech. Glenmont Partners has entered into an agreement with Grupo Tech for the pipeline, which is based on projects located in central and southern Spain. The projects are expected to reach ready to build stage in 2022 and 2023 to be precise. Some more news from the solar sector. Last but not least, EnBW has started operations of 2 subsidy-free solar parks in Germany, totaling 300 megawatts. The Altribin and the Gotterbab solar farms have each around 150 megawatts of capacity. Together with the Wissow-Willemendorf solar farm, in operational since last year, the solar farms form a 500 megawatt solar cluster on the east of Berlin. So this is really good news coming from the solar sector and Germany, who seem to be dominating the news at the moment. Last but not least, some hydropower news. And Voltalia, they are to build a new small hydro plant in northern Brazil. Voltalia has launched the 3rd phase of the HAPEC hybrid site in Brazil, with the construction of a 7.5 megawatt hydroelectric plant. The new project will increase the share of renewable energy in electricity consumption to over 90%. Voltalia won the tender organised for this particular project back in 2014. The town itself, Habeck, I hope I'm pronouncing that correct, is an isolated town of 24 inhabitants, not connected to the national electricity grid. Voltalia was the only tender who proposed a solution that included renewable energy. So again, congratulations. And some more news from the hydro sector, and Belfinger is to deliver, pressure piping and draft tube gates for the new Limburg 3 pump storage plant in Austria, in an order valued at over 20 million euros. Bilfinger was contracted by Verbund Hydropower to deliver and assume responsibility for all the works on the pressure piping and draft tube gates for the hydropower plant. The order will be booked in the engineering and maintenance Europe segment, and is expected to run from October 2021, so last year, up until June 2025. So again, congratulations to all involved on that recent award. Again, that sums up this week in Renewables. Of course, without saying, all our thoughts and prayers of those who are affected in Ukraine. Thank you for watching this week in Renewables. Don't forget to like, comment and share. Your perfect place for the renewable stories over the last 7 days. Have a wonderful week. I've been your host, and as always, keep it green, keep it clean.